If you order a package online, you immediately get a tracking number, right?
Oh, yeah. Constantly refreshing the page.
Exactly. I mean, it tells you its exact location, like it's in transit or it's at the local facility, it's out for delivery. There's a really definitive timeline there.
Hmm.
And we can kind of orient our entire day around that arrival window. And there is I don't know, a profound psychological comfort in that certainty.
Well, yeah, because the human brain is essentially a prediction machine.
Yeah.
Like, it constantly maps out the future just to keep our nervous systems regulated.
Right.
So when we have a tracking number, our brain doesn't have to burn any energy wondering what's going to happen. It just, categorizes the package as a solved problem.
Right. It's safe.
Dude.
But then you step into the real world, like the heavy stuff. Finding a fulfilling career or meeting a life partner or getting your physical or mental health back on track. And suddenly that tracking number completely disappears. We're just like staring at a blank screen.
Which is terrifying.
It is. It's this existential waiting. And it can feel incredibly isolating because our prediction machine is just spinning, right? It's trying to find a delivery date that just doesn't exist.
Right. Which triggers a very, very specific kind of cognitive panic.
Yeah.
Without a guaranteed delivery date, we start to equate the delay with a denial.
Oh, wow. Wait, say that again? Delay with denial.
Yeah, exactly. And, we are exploring the psychology behind trusting your life's timeline in this deep dive today and how to actually cure that specific panic.
I love that. That's the mission today. Let's fix the panic.
Let's try. So a great way to frame this is with a thought experiment from our sources. Imagine if you knew with absolute guaranteed certainty that your ideal career would perfectly click into place in exactly 4 years.
Okay.
Or that you would meet your life partner in exactly 18 months. Just guaranteed.
Man, if someone handed me a certified document guaranteeing those dates, my entire posture would change. I wouldn't be agonizing at all. I'd probably go take a nap, honestly.
Just sleep for 18 months.
Pretty much. No, but I mean, I would use those 18 months to travel or pick up some weird hobby or maybe just enjoy the quiet of my own apartment. Like, I would actually have fun right now.
And notice how the physical anxiety completely evaporates in that scenario.
It really does.
The fear of waiting disappears. The second certainty is introduced. And this reveals a really critical misunderstanding we have about our own anxiety.
Which is what?
That deep down, we aren't actually afraid of things taking a little longer than we expected.
Yeah.
We are terrified that they will never happen at all.
Oh, that hits hard.
The panic is rooted in the fear of permanent lack. We make this massive cognitive error where we use the fact that a milestone hasn't happened yet.
Right.
It's absolute empirical evidence that it never will.
It's like sitting in a massive traffic jam on, Interstate 95 and convincing yourself that because your car stopped right now, the beach you're driving to must have completely vanished from the map.
That is the perfect analogy, yes.
You just sit in your car thinking like, well, I haven't reached the ocean yet, so the ocean is a myth. This is just my life now. I live in this Honda Civic.
I am a Honda Civic resident now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we project our current static state out into infinity.
Wow.
We look at a struggling business or a prolonged period of being single, and the brain's prediction machine, because it lacks a tracking number, prepares us for the worst-case scenario to protect us, really.
So it's a defense mechanism.
Exactly. It says, prepare to be alone forever, prepare for absolute failure.
Which creates a feeling of being acutely, fundamentally behind. It doesn't just feel like a subtle worry. It feels like a literal emergency.
Mm-hmm.
But why is the sensation of falling behind so universal? Like, even among highly successful people, they still feel this.
Well, according to the research, it goes all the way back to childhood conditioning and this concept of the syllabus.
The syllabus, like a school syllabus.
Exactly like that. From the moment we enter the education system at, age 5?
Yeah, kindergarten.
Right. Our lives are meticulously, rigidly scheduled. Everyone is in the same grade at the exact same time. You take the exact same standardized tests on a Tuesday in April.
Oh, man, the Tuesday in April tests.
You know the ones. And then you all move up to the next grade together. You literally have a physical piece of paper telling you exactly where you stand and what is coming next.
So we are essentially trained for, 2 decades to believe that progress is linear and uniform and totally measurable against our peers.
Right. And then graduation happens.
And it all falls apart.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We're pushed out into adulthood and the guardrails just disappear overnight. There is no syllabus anymore. There are no rules.
But not at all.
And that lack of structure is objectively liberating, right? You can do whatever you want. But neurologically, it is absolutely terrifying.
Because the brain doesn't know what to do without it.
Exactly. The brain has been trained for 20 years to rely on a syllabus to measure safety and to measure progress. Without one, we subconsciously fabricate an imaginary timeline to replace it.
Oh, I see. So it's like married by 27, vice president by 30, buying a house with a yard by 32.
Yep.
We basically just invent this ghost syllabus.
The ghost syllabus, yes. And we spend our 20s, our 30s, and way beyond just harshly grading ourselves against a schedule that we literally made up out of thin air.
That is so wild.
So when we inevitably miss those fabricated milestones, the fear of never rushes in. We don't think, oh, my path is diverging. We think, I failed the test. I missed my shot.
Okay, I hear that, but let's be realistic for a second.
Okay.
Because it is very easy to sit in the studio right now and say, hey, drop the imaginary syllabus.
Sure.
But when I open LinkedIn and I see a former classmate announcing some massive promotion, or I go on Instagram and see a friend's, elaborate engagement photos,
right,
the feeling of falling behind is like a physical punch to the gut. It really is. How is a person supposed to just ignore the empirical evidence of everyone else's progress right in front of them?
Well, you have to understand the mathematical impossibility of how we compare ourselves.
Mathematical impossibility.
Yeah. We fall into a trap of comparing our emptiest category to someone else's fullest category.
Oh, meaning we selectively filter the data based on our own insecurities.
Exactly. Our brains are hardwired for confirmation bias. If you are desperately lonely, you will scan your environment exclusively for happy couples. You won't even notice the single people.
That makes a lot of sense.
Or you look at a colleague whose career is, miles ahead of yours, and you focus entirely on their full career category and compare it directly to your empty one.
Right, you're not looking at anything else.
You completely ignore the variables you cannot see. You might have a rich, vibrant support system, or you've done deep psychological healing.
Yeah.
Whereas that highly successful colleague might be completely estranged from their family. They might be running on fumes.
Wow. Yeah, you might possess this baseline of inner peace and daily contentment that this seemingly perfect person won't even begin to discover until their mid-50s, probably after their third burnout.
Precisely. Once we enter adulthood, the categories diverge so wildly that comparing timelines is just absurd.
Right.
You are comparing career trajectory to nervous system regulation. It is apples to emotional maturity. The comparison only works if you deliberately ignore 90% of the human experience.
Okay, so if we logically accept that the syllabus is fake and that comparing our empty buckets to other people's full buckets is just irrational,
right, how
do we actually operate daily? Does trusting the timing of your life mean we just adopt this passive, totally apathetic stance? Do we just lay on the couch and say, whatever the universe wants, I yield?
No. And that is a huge trap for ambitious people. Culturally, we swing wildly on a pendulum with this stuff.
What do you mean?
Well, on one side, we have extreme hustle culture.
Right.
The belief that you must force every outcome, micromanage reality, and bend the universe to your will through just sheer exhaustion.
Oh, yeah, the Gary V approach to reality. If you aren't bleeding out of your eyeballs, you just don't want it enough.
Right, exactly. But then on the far end of the pendulum is pure surrender, complete passivity.
Like The Secret.
Yes. Sitting in a room, visualizing $1 million and just waiting for it to drop through the ceiling.
Which also doesn't work.
Which doesn't work. The healthy functional middle ground operates much like a farmer.
Okay, a farmer.
Yeah. A farmer controls specific inputs. They choose the seeds, they till the soil, they apply fertilizer, they water the ground. Those actions require immense effort and discipline.
Right.
But once the inputs are handled, the farmer must completely surrender to the elements they cannot control.
Okay, I have to push back here.
Go for it.
Because the farmer analogy is kind of a massive self-help cliche. It is on every inspirational poster in the world. Just plant your seeds and wait. How does that actually help someone who is panicking about paying rent or terrified they'll never have a family?
Because the farmer analogy isn't about being peaceful. It's about the neurology of control and the concept of a demotion of responsibility.
Demotion of responsibility. Okay, tell me more about that.
When you panic about things you cannot control, like whether a specific person will love you back or whether some algorithm will push your business viral, you spike your cortisol.
Right, you're stressing out.
You enter a state of chronic fight or flight. You literally burn out your decision-making capacity. trying to manipulate the weather.
Oh, I see. You end up going out into the field every 6 hours to dig up the seed to check if it's growing.
Yes. And the act of digging it up kills the exact thing you were trying to cultivate.
Wow.
When we try to play God and control the timing, our anxiety destroys the process. We check our website analytics 20 times a day, we see no growth, we get demoralized, and we stop creating entirely.
Yeah, or you weigh yourself 3 times a day, you see water weight fluctuation, you get incredibly frustrated, and then you just binge eat.
Exactly. We obsess over the outcome instead of the input.
It's like placing an order at a restaurant.
Okay, how so?
You look at the menu, you make a decision, and you tell the waiter that is your input.
Right.
You don't then barge through the swinging doors into the kitchen every 2 minutes to micromanage the executive chef. Like, you don't check the temperature of the oven yourself.
No, you definitely don't.
If you do that, you get kicked out of the restaurant, you sit at your table, you have a drink, you talk to your friends, and you just trust the kitchen to do its job.
The restaurant analogy is perfect for understanding inputs.
Hmm.
But let's twist it a little based on the source material.
Let's do it.
What if you didn't have to wait? What if the kitchen bypassed the cooking time completely and the waiter brought out your ultimate 5-course dream meal right now, tonight?
Okay.
Would you actually have the appetite to finish it?
Oh,
This brings us to a concept known as the silver platter test.
the silver platter test. This is a heavy capacity check.
Very heavy.
The question is, if the thing you want so desperately was handed to you on a silver platter right this very second, are you actually equipped to hold it?
Yes. We spend all our energy agonizing over the delay, entirely ignoring whether we have the infrastructure for the blessing.
Give me an example of that.
Imagine you want to be a massive influencer. You complain daily that the algorithm hates you, nobody sees your stuff. And then tomorrow morning, you wake up to 10 million followers.
Oh, man. Can you handle that? Like, do you have the nervous system regulation to process thousands of strangers commenting on your appearance every hour?
Probably not.
Do you have the business acumen to monetize that traffic, or legal representation, or a PR strategy? For most people, that level of instantaneous exposure would result in a complete psychological breakdown.
It absolutely would. Or consider the relationship dynamic.
Okay.
You want your absolute soulmate to knock on your door tonight, but are you emotionally available for a secure, healthy partnership? Or are you still quietly texting an ex?
Ouch. Yeah. Are you so burnt out and defensive from past trauma that you would subconsciously sabotage a healthy person? Just because you don't know how to receive unconditional love without suspicion?
Exactly. Would they be meeting the best version of you or the depleted, dysregulated version of you that pushes good things away?
That is such a good question.
Reframing the delay this way changes the entire nature of waiting. It stops being a passive punishment and it becomes a mandatory season of preparation.
Season of preparation.
Yeah. Look at the archetype of the child star. We have decades of data showing what happens when a human being receives immense, staggering success before they have the cognitive development and life skills to process it.
Right. It's usually tragic.
The success arrives before the foundation is poured, and it almost inevitably destroys them.
This completely upends the pop culture definition of manifestation, doesn't it?
It really does.
Because modern manifestation is usually sold as this magical thinking. Like, how do I get this sports car into my driveway? How do I attract this specific promotion at my job?
But true manifestation is entirely behavioral. It shifts the question from, how do I acquire this, to who do I need to become to sustain this once it arrives?
Wow. Who do I need to become?
If your dream job landed in your lap on Monday, what specific skill gap would make you panic? The time you spend waiting is the exact time you have been given to close that gap.
But there is a practical tension here, I think.
Okay, what is it?
If we are constantly viewing our current life as just a training ground for the future, like we're just building capacity, working on our skills, how do we prevent today from feeling like a chore, like a layover at a really sterile airport?
Yeah. That is the waiting room trap.
The waiting room trap.
It is incredibly common for ambitious people to put their actual lives on pause because they view their current circumstances as merely transitional.
Like people living in a rental apartment for 4 years, but refusing to hang a single picture or paint a wall because they are, quote, saving for a house.
Exactly that. They live with bare walls, surrounded by boxes, living in the future while actively depriving themselves of a home today.
That's just sad.
Or refusing to book a trip to Europe because you haven't found the perfect partner to travel with yet. You wait year after year, and your passport just expires in a drawer.
Or you refuse to invest in friendships in a new city because you just assume, well, I'll move in a few years anyway.
Right. But the danger here isn't just that life gets boring.
Okay, what's the real danger?
Well, a lot of self-help talks about how enjoying your life creates this magnetic energy that attracts what you want.
Right, which sounds a bit woo-woo.
It does. But mechanically, why does living fully in the present actually help you get the things you're waiting for?
Yeah, explain the mechanics of that, because I'm skeptical.
It's because desperation dictates behavior.
Oh,
When you are miserable in the waiting room, treating your current life as a prison sentence, you enter a state of lack. You become needy.
I see. So in the dating world, a desperate, unhappy person lacks boundaries.
They cling.
Yeah, they ignore red flags because they just want the waiting to be over so badly.
And that behavior is objectively unattractive. It pushes healthy partners away.
And in a career context, if you treat your current job like a miserable stepping stone, your performance drops.
Right.
You go into job interviews radiating this weird tension and urgency. But a regulated person, someone who has decorated their apartment, who travels solo, who is genuinely engaged with their present reality, they walk into an interview or a date with a sense of ease. They don't absolutely need the outcome to survive.
Exactly. Competence and contentment signal safety to other people. When you are allowed to be happy before everything works out, you actually build a resilient nervous system.
The irony is that fully enjoying your current single era or engaging deeply with a mediocre job makes you significantly more capable of seizing the next opportunity when it does arrive.
It's a paradox, but it's true. Which brings us to a really tactical life hack from the material.
Okay, I love a life hack. Hit me.
Live like it's scheduled.
Live like it's scheduled.
Even if you don't have the tracking number, operate under the assumption that the package is guaranteed.
Going back to the tracking number.
Yep. If you knew the delivery was inevitable, you wouldn't spend your entire Saturday stressing by the window. You would go to the farmer's market. You would call a friend.
Because worrying is basically a misuse of your imagination.
Perfectly said. It does not accelerate the timeline by a single second. It only bankrupts the joy of the current process.
All right, let's ground this for a listener who is maybe in a dark place right now.
Okay.
Let's say next Tuesday afternoon, they are feeling completely lost. They're scrolling on their phone, seeing everyone else succeed, and the panic is really setting in. They feel terribly, terribly behind.
Yeah.
How do they snap out of that fight or flight response and practically apply this trust?
The most immediate practical tool they can use is the practice of pulling your own receipts.
Pulling receipts, meaning hindsight.
Exactly. Looking forward into the void of the future, life feels chaotic and threatening. But looking backward, the architecture of your life usually makes perfect sense.
Because the delays are suddenly revealed as necessary detours.
Right. Think about periods in your own past where you felt totally stuck. Maybe you spent a few years in your 20s feeling stagnant, just reading or healing or working a job that felt super irrelevant.
Yeah, at the time it felt like sitting in the waiting room watching everyone else lap you on the track.
But when you pull the receipt on that era today, you usually find it was your ultimate competitive advantage.
Wow.
You needed that specific depth of knowledge or that quiet period of emotional healing to sustain the demands of your current life.
Because if you had rushed the timeline, you would have collapsed under the weight of it.
Precisely.
Everyone has these receipts. Like, think about that devastating breakup 5 years ago that you thought would actually end your life. The person you literally begged to stay.
We've all been there.
Right. But looking back, that closed door forced you to reevaluate your boundaries, which eventually allowed you to walk into a much healthier relationship. Or the soul-crushing job rejection that inadvertently forced you to pivot into an entirely different industry where you actually thrive now.
Your own life history contains the empirical evidence you need. You have survived every delay so far, and most of them served a really critical structural purpose.
So when the panic sets in, you have to refuse to look at the imaginary syllabus.
Right. Look at your actual receipts instead.
Man, we have deconstructed so much today.
We really have.
I mean, tearing up the ghost syllabus, recognizing the confirmation bias of our comparisons, stepping out of the waiting room.
And taking responsibility for our inputs while completely surrendering the weather.
So good. As we wrap this up, there is one final angle to consider from all these sources, right?
There is, and it's a powerful one. We started by talking about the anxiety of wanting a tracking number for your own life. And we view our delays purely through the lens of our own frustration.
Right. Why isn't this happening for me?
Exactly. But consider the utility of your current struggle. The exact delay, the frustrating plateau, or the unanswered question you are agonizing over today might be the exact blueprint you need in 10 years.
The blueprint for what?
To pull someone else out of the dark.
Oh, wow.
The waiting period isn't just about building your own capacity. It is the raw material for your future empathy.
That is profound.
The story of how you survived this exact season of feeling behind will eventually become your greatest gift to someone else who feels completely lost.
So the tracking number isn't missing. You are just living the chapter that makes the arrival actually mean something.
That's exactly right.